What if one of the most commonly trusted exercises for shaping strong glutes is quietly working against your body after the age of 50? For years, the advice has stayed the same. Want powerful hips, steady legs, and a firm lower body? Do squats. And to be clear, squats aren't bad. They're not dangerous by default. They're not pointless. This isn't about blame. But here's the question almost no one stops to ask. What if the way most people over 50 perform squats no longer supports the body the way it once did? According to the CDC, falls remain the leading cause of injury-related death among adults over 65. Harvard Health reports that as we age, our joints lose their ability to absorb shock and tolerate heavy compression, especially in the knees, hips, and lower spine. And research published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy shows that hip instability, not lack of strength, is one of the strongest predictors of balance issues and chronic lower back pain in older adults. Pause for a moment and let that settle. Not weakness. Not laziness. Not effort. Instability. Here's the part that rarely gets discussed. Most squat variations, especially the ones done at home, do a great job activating the largest glute muscle, the gluteus maximus. But they often overlook a muscle that becomes far more important after 50, the gluteus medius. This muscle keeps your pelvis level, stabilizes your hips, and helps you stay upright while walking, turning, or standing on one leg. When that muscle weakens, your body doesn't stop moving. It adapts. Your lower back takes on extra work. Your knees absorb more stress. Your balance slowly declines. Then one day you start asking yourself, why do my hips ache during walks? Why does my lower back fatigue so quickly? Why do stairs feel heavier than before? Most people chalk it up to aging. But what if it's not your age? What if it's what you've been training, and what you've been neglecting? This isn't about fear or telling you to stop exercising. It's about something far more important, making sure the movements you practice today protect your independence tomorrow. After 50, strength isn't about how much weight you can lift. It's about balance, stability, and moving confidently through daily life without pain or hesitation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many one-size-fits-all routines, including endless squats, were created for younger bodies. They don't account for aging joints, nervous systems, or balance mechanisms. That doesn't mean your body is failing. It means it's asking for a smarter approach. If you're watching this and you're over 50, you're not alone. Share your first name, age, and where you're watching from in the comments. This isn't just a video, it's a growing community of people choosing stability, confidence, and long-term movement health. Most adults over 50 aren't inactive because they don't care. You walk. You stay busy. Some of you even squat. You do it because doctors, magazines, and trainers told you it's essential for healthy aging. And they weren't completely wrong, but they weren't fully right either. What those routines rarely consider is how the body changes after 50. Squats are often promoted as the safest and most effective glute exercise at any age. But what if that belief is quietly reducing your stability instead of improving it? What if your joints, nervous system, and deep stabilizers are being overlooked? Here's what almost no one explains. Squats mainly train the gluteus maximus, the muscle responsible for power and shape. But they often undertrain the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for side-to-side balance, pelvic control, and spinal protection. And after 50, which one matters more? Not the bigger one, the smarter one. The gluteus medius controls how level your pelvis stays when you walk, how stable you feel on stairs, and whether uneven ground feels manageable or risky. Movement without proper activation becomes repetition, and repetition without balance leads to compensation, and eventually injury. A 2020 study in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy found that weak gluteus medius activation strongly predicted lower back pain and increased fall risk, even in adults who exercised regularly. Another review in gait and posture revealed that traditional squats activate the gluteus medius up to 50% less than targeted side-lying movements. Here's what happens when routines don't adapt with age. Large surface muscles dominate. Deep stabilizers shut down. Joints absorb stress muscles should handle. You feel stiff, sore, and fatigued, even while doing everything right. Confidence quietly erodes, until one small misstep changes everything. You don't need to eliminate squats forever. But you do need to add movements that retrain stability, not just strength. That's why the next section introduces 4 exercises that are more effective than squats for adults over 50, not because they're harder, but because they're smarter. Number 4, side-lying hip abduction. Lying on your side and lifting your leg doesn't feel impressive. Squats feel like work. They burn. They raise your heart rate. But effort is not the same as effectiveness. And after 50, the muscle that matters most doesn't need more weight, it needs to wake up. This movement directly activates the gluteus medius. Studies in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy showed that adults over 55 who added this exercise 3 times a week improved balance, walking stability, and reduced lower back fatigue within 6 weeks, without lifting weights. When this muscle fails, the pelvis tilts, knees collapse inward, and the lower back overworks. The fix is precision, not intensity. Lie on your side. Bottom leg bent slightly. Top leg straight and slightly forward. Turn your toes gently downward, then lift slowly. Controlled. Purposeful. This targets what squats miss. Number 3, posterior hip abduction. This looks similar but trains a completely different stability pattern. By moving the leg slightly behind the body and rotating the foot upward, you activate deeper stabilizing fibers responsible for controlling rotation, the movements that cause most unexpected falls. A 2020 clinical biomechanics study showed a 37% improvement in rotational hip control and reduced lateral sway in older adults who practiced this movement. Without this range, simple turns become risky. This isn't about strength, it's about control. Number 2, standing hip drop and abduction. Walking alone isn't enough for balance. Walking moves you forward. Falls happen sideways. This drill retrains pelvic control during single leg support, something squats rarely challenge. Research in the American Journal of Sports Medicine found significant improvements in proprioception and single leg stability in adults over 55 using this exercise. It restores confidence one controlled movement at a time. Number 1, standing hip extension with external rotation. This simple motion trains real-life balance recovery. Life isn't linear, it's rotational. Reaching, twisting, pivoting. A gait and posture study in 2021 showed improved reaction time, spinal stability, and pelvic symmetry in older adults practicing this movement. This isn't about lifting heavier. It's about responding better. Let's step back. You tried. You followed advice. You stayed active. What if your strength was never missing, just misdirected? After 50, real strength is restoring communication between your brain and body. Training the muscles that keep you upright. Rebuilding confidence in movements that once felt automatic. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You just need the right starting point. These 4 exercises aren't flashy. But they're honest. And sometimes the smallest movements make the biggest difference. Start where you are. Even if it feels small. Especially if it feels small. Because one day, your future self will thank you for starting. If this helped, like the video so others over 50 can find it. Share it with someone you care about. And subscribe for more simple, science-backed ways to stay strong, steady, and independent.